Well, it's great to see you, ma'am. So how long have you all been homeschooling?
My oldest is 19 and we've always homeschooled. So
Okay. So for a
that
while.
long. Yeah.
That's great. And how many practicums have you attended, ma'am?
I don't know. I've been to, I stopped counting. I speak, I train, I do camps. So I've been to many practicum over the course of 9 years.
Got it. Okay. Wow, that's awesome. How many student camps have your children attended?
A lot of student camps. I can't even begin to say how many as well, because they've also attended, but they've also helped at camps and
Oh,
volunteered.
okay.
Because right now they're 19, 18, and 16.
Oh, wow. So they all help out?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great, ma'am. So what has been your, like, so you've been a truckload of practicums. Like, why? What's the benefit, or why would you recommend somebody attend practicums?
Well, you're going to get your training if you're a director or a tutor or something like that. But also, I think it's also just for the sake of developing community. And that's why I do so many, is to support my community, support communities around me. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by how yellow I look. But like, I'm not a yellow person. I'm not a Oompa. But so I'm going to go somewhere else. But I think just all the different things that you can learn at the practicum and all the people you can meet, because that doesn't help. It's just relationship development. It's helping. And I guess that ministry mindset that my family has is one of helping other people. And of course, for me, with my children being older, that gives me a lot more freedom to go to more practicum and really help out that way than it does for people who are younger. If my kids were that young, I wouldn't have been, hopping around from practicum to practicum all summer unless that was something that was really good for my family. Because for some families, that would work for them. But I guess I'm trying not to put that burden on other people that like they should go to lots of practicum when their kids are young.
Right.
But they should go to one practicum would be really great, or a couple. But yeah, when your kids are older, though, the blessing is just what they're learning skills by leading and by helping and by participating. So whether they're running tech, working in the bookstore, helping with snacks, running a camp, or assisting in a camp, or running the recess time, they're developing relationships with peers. They're developing relationships with potential mentors in their life. And they're also just developing those leadership skills. And that has been a huge benefit. And besides, if really all you want to do is use something for like a resume, it gives you something for your resume. And your college application, those things matter. It looks pretty impressive when you've been a camp counselor for a Latin camp and science camp and things like that when you're applying to college.
That's a great point. I would have never even thought about that. That's an excellent point. And let's see. So what have been the biggest benefits that your children, when they were younger, that they got from student camps?
The friendship.
Yeah.
I would say for mine, it was the building of the friendship, the skills that they got because we were already in CC. It was just a cementing of skills. It was reinforcing. It added value to the skills. And I think for my kids, there was value for them in seeing that other people were studying the same things they were studying, not just people in their community, but meeting communities in the Midwest, meeting communities that were not just our community. They were developing friendships all over the place. And for them, the academic value of the camp was great, but I think the greater value was the relationships that come from that, just understanding you are part of something that is so much bigger than just your family. And my kids they saw that. It's not like where we went was anything special. It's just still more farmland or, another city. But it was all these people and learning how to get along with them and the different personalities and the excitement the other families have. It gives them gratitude for what our community has that maybe those communities didn't have, but also gives them a vision for things that that they want to see on our campus or that they can bring to another campus. And also, it's not just the relationships with students, it was the relationships with leaders, because I know for at least my oldest child, he's very, very quiet. He's very quiet and brainy, and you need to stop that. This is Chewy.
Hey, Chewy.
Goodness. I opened the door to get some light, and he's just barking at everything outside. But there were certain people that actually asked to have him work in their camps because he's so brainy, and they needed that. But he's not great with he's not the kid that would just jump out and participate or be like, oh, I'll help with that. It's not because he's not helpful, it's because he doesn't recognize the need, and he doesn't see where he fits in because he lives in this brainy world, and he likes technology and helping with technology. So there were certain people that knew to ask if he would help, but these were the people that knew what they could do with him. And the mentorship he got from those relationships, those people actually caring about who he was as a person, and because he was always ready to help, he just didn't know what to do. And they would say, okay, Theo, I need you to sit at this table and help these kids with these conjugations and work on this game with them. He was all in. And they gave him those opportunities. And then coming back and telling me how awesome he was really good for my mama's heart. I needed to hear that, and needed to know that he was getting that experience in working with other people and learning those skills. See, these mentors, these other directors were willing, because they knew of his gifts and talents, they were willing to help him with the social skills because they wanted him to come alongside them for their camp. He knew more academically than they did, but he didn't have the social part, and they had that. And then I have a social child who's all over the place all the time. And it just so happened that one summer, he was helping out with stuff in a camp, and a leader couldn't make it to recess, and they needed someone to run recess. And so they grabbed me. I was taking photos at this particular one, and I'm not a photographer, by the way, but I was also there as the AR and stuff. So I was just sitting around taking photos and helping. And they said, can you go do recess? And I was like, sure. So I would go to do recess, but my son was actually asked to run it. I was shocked at how good he was. He corralled those kids and had them playing games, and everyone was so much in love with him that they had him do that the rest of the week. And they got other adults to come in there to make sure that an adult was present, but he ran it. Wow. And that was like a defining moment for him and for our family in recognizing that talent in him, because he was a kid that did not want to read, was always active, wanted to be on the trampoline. All memory work had to be done bouncing on a yoga ball or running around outside with me following him. And suddenly it's like, okay, we found your talent. And it was amazing because the kids loved him. He loved what he was doing, and he had the energy to make it happen. So long story short, I think the value is in the relationships and with the adults and with the students, because they're learning these skills. And so for me, it wasn't about the academics of the academic camp. That's peripheral. It was the experience as a whole for my children.
That's great, ma'am. And last question is, what would be one piece of advice that you could give to new families attending on how to just prepare themselves for Practicum?
Pack snacks, lots and lots of snacks for yourself and your kids. Just healthy snacks, because wear comfortable shoes. Bring a sweater or a scarf, like layer the clothing, because some buildings are really cold. And bring a nice notebook that you like. And if you're an introvert like me, just kind of gird up your loins to connect with people, because these are your people. And just put yourself out there a little bit. If you feel uncomfortable, there's someone else that feels uncomfortable, so go sit by that person that's uncomfortable. Or what I would do is attach myself to a mom with a baby, because I didn't have any. Mine were older. So I'd attach myself to a mom with a baby and just see what I could do to help. or she had toddlers or stuff to carry, I'd find some way to help out or be involved, hence why I am involved and help out. So, and if you're an extrovert, then go encourage people, do what you do, make friends, encourage people, be connected. But yeah, eat healthy, get some rest, prepare yourself, figure out what you're going to do for dinner, because you're going to get home and you're going to be exhausted, and so are your kids. And be prepared. Your kids are going to be a little cranky, because it's a long day. Mine would always fall asleep on the drive home. All the teenagers that I'd be having with me, they'd all be asleep, which was good. That was a good thing. But your kids are going to be tired. And if they've never been used to being away from mom, that's going to be hard for them. So be prepared for that. Be okay to have them sit with you for just a little bit in that morning session if they need some mommy time. It's okay to be a mom. CC loves homeschool parents.
That's right.
And it's okay to bring dad.
What's up?
Dad's invited. Sometimes dad will be there if you got a job for him. So my husband ran tech. He would bring lunch and stick around. He would do stuff. So yeah, give the dad something to do, and he'll be there.
That's excellent, man. Wow, such amazing, practical skinny. Thanks a million. As an extrovert, I would not have thought of all those great introvert tips. So yeah, that is awesome, man. I would just close with one Bible verse here that I'll share. Galatians 6:9. Do not be weary in well-doing, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. So that's Galatians 6:9. Do you have one verse, ma'am, you'd want to share?
That's like a huge verse for me. Well, the one that comes to mind for me a lot is, and I don't know where it's found, but it's my servant does not shrink back. And I love Winnie the Pooh, and I often picture myself, much to my dismay, as Piglet, because I'm a very small person, and you've seen me, Noble, especially next to you. I'm like this tiny little thing, and and so one of the things I say, and it would be in my head all the time, is it's hard to be brave when you're such a very small animal, because Piglet says that to Pooh. He's like, it's hard to be brave, and then God says to me, my servant does not shrink back.
Wow.
So I've learned that when God opens a door or he sets something on your heart, he's going to equip you, and you just need to do it. And stop walking in fear, but walk in confidence in what God's called you to do. So if God's calls you to help somebody, if he calls you to sit by somebody, if you think, oh, that someone should do something, do something. Yeah. Be part of the Practicum, and you'll be amazed at how God flings the doors of heaven wide open and answers those things you've been praying for, gives you wisdom, discernment, peace, patience, those things you've been wanting and asking for. We just need to step out and to not shrink back. Just do what he's calling us to do. And Practicum is just another place to do that.
Yeah. Amen. Awesome. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and your wisdom. God bless you. And it was great chatting with you, ma'am.